It's time we had a conversation about Parliament, specifically the types of people we are electing to represent us. MPs call themselves right honourables, but some of the behaviour displayed by Commons cohorts in recent years makes me think they should be called right wrong-uns instead. Just a fortnight ago, Conservative MP William Ragg played the victim when it was revealed he not only shared explicit pictures of himself on a gay dating app with an unknown person he'd never met, leaving himself open for blackmail, by the way, but he then tried to worm his way out of the foolish predicament by handing over the phone numbers of dozens of other MPs and parliamentary staffers so they too could be snared in a honey trap sexting plot. He did apologise, of course. He told the Times newspaper, "I'm so sorry my weakness has caused other people hurt." Well, isn't that noble? But in 2022, Tory MP Chris Pincher, the man who broke the camel's back when it came to Boris Johnson's resignation, lived up to his name when he was found to have drunkenly groped two men at a posh private members' club in London. Other allegations also surfaced from separate incidents. Last year, the then Conservative MP Peter Bone was found by an independent regulator to have repeatedly hit and verbally abused a member of his staff, often asking him for massages, and on one occasion putting his bare genitals in the other man's face. Bone insists the allegations never took place and, of course, that he says they're false and untrue. But who can forget this weasel as well? Matt Hancock, the COVID-era health secretary here, proving an honest and trustworthy individual by cheating on his wife, betraying his family and also the public in the process, in the offices, don't forget, of the Department for Health. It's not all Tory MPs, by the way. Who can forget Keith Teflon Vaz, the married father of two Labour MPs, suspended from Parliament in 2019 after offering to buy cocaine for rent boys. If you don't remember, he tried to disguise his real identity by saying he was a washing machine salesman called Jim. Fast forward to today then, where Tory MP Mark Menzies is under investigation for allegedly using thousands of pounds from party donors to pay for private expenses. According to The Times, the government trade envoy rang an elderly local party volunteer at 3:15 in the morning in December, saying he was locked out his flat by bad people and he needed £5,000 as a matter of life or death. The sum mysteriously rose to $6,500 later on and was actually paid by his office manager from local party coffers. The paper reports a further £14,000 given by donors for use on the Tory campaign trail had previously been transferred to Menzies' personal bank account and used for his private medical expenses. The Conservative Party has been aware of the allegations of potential fraud for more than 3 months, yet took no action until today when they suspended him. In a statement to The Times, Mr Menzies said, "I strongly dispute the allegations put to me. I have fully complied with all the rules for declarations. As there's an ongoing investigation, I will not be commenting further." But look, it's not Menzies' first rodeo, is it? In 2014, he was at the centre of a sex for money scandal. Rogério Santos, 19, a Brazilian rent boy, told the Sunday Mirror that the MP had paid him for sex and asked him to buy drugs. He denied the claims but resigned as a ministerial aide regardless. And 3 years later, Menzies was interviewed by cops over, frankly, a quite bizarre accusation that he deliberately got a friend's dog drunk. That's right, a dog. The pooch needed emergency treatment at the vets for alcohol poisoning. Our parliamentarians are meant to be the best of society. The reality is most of them can only be described as low grade, and that's quite frankly being generous. If they're not carrying a whole load of sexual baggage around, they're typically so incompetent that rarely would they ever get a job at a top FTSE 100 company or, let's be honest, survive 2 minutes in the real world with real people taking on real challenges. Is this the best we can really do? And has the Conservative Party, in particular, got a sleaze problem that urgently needs addressing? I'm joined now by former Tory MP Neil Parish, who actually himself resigned as an MP in 2022 after watching porn on his phone in the Commons. Good evening, Neil. Thank you for joining me. So, look, let's just clear up your situation first of all. Can you just remind viewers about your self-described moment of madness in the Commons that led to your resignation? Then we can speak about Menzies and the Tories on a wider scale, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, I looked twice at porn on my phone. The first time I went into the site accidentally, but the second time I went in on purpose, and that's why I resigned from the House of Commons, because the behaviour was bad. I mean, my behaviour was very bad in as much that it was very bad to myself. I did not intend to do anybody else any offence, but it was wrong what I was doing. And I think that's the distinction I would make, but I don't justify my actions, and that's why I resigned so quickly.
Got it. And just sorry, last question on this matter. Why were you watching porn? Were you bored in the Commons? What was going through your head?
Yeah, I mean, I think some people think, it was in the middle of debate or in the middle of question time. It was 11:30 at night, and we had 12 votes, and we were waiting. I was right in the corner of the chamber. It's probably an argument as to whether I was actually in the chamber or not. But I did, and I watched it, and I resigned. So
okay.
That was.
Yeah. Oh, look, Neil, thanks for clearing that up. Appreciate your honesty. On the wider topic of, today Mark Menzies, but is there a sleaze problem in the Conservative Party? Why does it seem like so many politicians, I'll mention some Labour ones there as well, Keith Vaz, there are others, but particularly the Conservatives in recent weeks, is there a sleaze problem with the Tories?
Well, certainly there seems to be a sort of run of things at the moment, and I think you quite rightly say that at the end of the day, the population, they put us in Parliament to pass laws. I was a chair of a select committee, Environment, Food, Rural Affairs. You took that job seriously, and so they expect you to behave well. And I think, this is the problem at the moment. There seems to be a number of MPs that haven't. And you see, the problem with Mark, in a way, is, and we have to wait to see what all that comes out, but you can't use party donors' money for your own expenses. That's an absolute no-no, and the whole thing seems bizarre, and I think really we need to know a lot more about it to find out exactly what happened. But again, it does bring parliamentarians into disrepute. That's the problem.
OK, well, of course, Mark denies those allegations, but as you mentioned, his previous rap sheet, I read it this morning, and it is something akin to a movie script. And, of course, you had William Ragg in recent weeks. The fact that he was happy to send explicit pictures to a complete random he'd never met on a gay dating app, that's bad enough, let alone dragging his colleagues into it. But, Neil Parish, thank you for joining us. And, again, I appreciate you talking about your own situation.